Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Y&R Trends. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Victoria's discovery of Cole's farewell letter sends shockwaves through the Newman family, shattering not just her perception of the past, but also the identities of Claire and Matt, the two individuals she believed she had finally come to trust. It starts innocently enough, with Victoria clearing out one of the old cedar boxes in the attic on a wet morning at the Newman ranch. In an attempt to find some calm among the turmoil of recent family scandals, she is looking for mementos from her childhood. However, a yellowed envelope with faded edges and thin print appears between the pages of an old novel when she raises a stack of faded photos and letters. The name, to Victoria, is scribbled in a familiar handwriting that makes her shudder. Cole's handwriting reads, "If you're reading this, the truth can no longer stay buried. She lost the guy she loved, the father of her daughter, and was informed that he would never return." As she cracks the delicate seal, her hands shake. Not only does what she reads within astound her, but it also upends all of her preconceived notions about her kid, her life, and the people who live with her. Cole's letter is a confession rather than a love letter or a farewell. It describes the horrible event that drove him into hiding, the twisted truth behind Claire's birth, and the deceit that split them apart. It was written in a desperate manner. "They told us our baby died, but that was the first lie," the letter starts. As Victoria continues to read, her pulse thumps and her eyes scan the words that pierce like razors. "I uncovered something terrible. A plan involving your father and someone else, someone closer to you than you could imagine." Cole talks about a cover-up that was planned by someone in the Newman circle who desired control over love. He claims that their beloved baby girl was abducted and replaced by another baby, the actual Claire, who was sent away to keep her safe from a power struggle and retaliation. Cole ends by saying, "If you ever find this letter, know that the daughter you lost is alive, and that her name might not be the one you think." As Victoria struggles to breathe due to the weight of Cole's confession, the letter slips from her grasp. Claire's thoughts are racing. Is it possible? Is her long-lost daughter, whom she had been grieving for decades, still alive and there in front of her? She spirals at the thought. She remembers Claire's eerie bond with her and the peculiar emotional tug she's always had. Every shared look, every pause, and every tear seems to have a new significance all of a sudden. But she is troubled by Cole's warning regarding another name. What did he mean? Really, who is Claire? Who is the someone closer that he referred to? Victoria's instincts take over before she can fully comprehend the scope. Her face as pale as ash, she dashes downstairs while holding the letter tightly. As soon as Nikki sees her from across the living room, she knows something is up. "What is it, Victoria, my love?" Her voice quivering with maternal worry, she asks. Victoria, however, can hardly form the words. "Mom, it's Cole. Claire is not who we believe her to be, according to his letter." The space becomes frozen. Nikki's jaw tightens. She's seen that expression before. The one Victoria gets when everything in her life has fallen apart. "What are you saying?" Nikki murmurs. However, Victoria only gives her the letter and turns to leave, her mind a whirlwind of grief, suspicions, and memories. Claire and Matt, meantime, are engaged in their own emotional conflict at Newman Enterprises. Matt is anxious and preoccupied with things he's not ready to divulge. He recently returned to Genoa City under a cloud of mystery. Claire can feel it. After the agony of learning the truth about Aunt Jordan and her perverse manipulation, she has been attempting to start over and make amends. But she feels uneasy about Matt's distance. She softly presses, "You've been quiet all morning. Is there a problem?" Matt pauses, his eyes darting with conflicting intensity in her direction. He whispers, "Claire, there's something you need to know, something about your family." But before he can say anything more, Victoria rushes into the office, her voice trembling with anger and incredulity. "Is that accurate?" She slams Cole's letter upon the desk and demands. Startled, Claire blinks. What is that?" she falters. "Don't pretend to be innocent." Victoria loses control of her emotions and yells. "This letter is from Cole, your father. The baby we lost wasn't lost at all," he wrote. "You were taken, replaced," he said. "Claire, who are you? In reality, who are you?" Claire's face becomes colorless. The only sound in the room is Victoria's heartbeat thumping rhythmically in her ears. Matt gets up from his seat, his face unreadable. He hesitantly says, "Victoria, perhaps we should sit down." But Victoria interrupts. "No. No more secrets. Let's stop lying. Both of you tell me the truth now." Claire moves forward, tears welling up in her eyes. Her voice trembles as she murmurs, "I swear I didn't know." Her words cut through Victoria like glass. "I thought I was your daughter. I wanted to be your daughter." "Desire to be?" With a suspicious tone, Victoria says it again. Matt lets out a long breath, his shoulders drooping from years of lying. Finally he continues, "Victoria, Cole wasn't lying. However, you must realize that it wasn't simply your father or Jordan." Victoria's eyes narrow. There was someone else, someone working in the shadows to protect the Newman legacy. "Who?" she insists. Matt pauses, his eyes darting to Claire. At last he murmurs in a barely audible voice, "Her real name isn't Claire Grace. Catherine Cole is here. Cole's daughter from a different relationship. The true child you and Cole had, the girl you lost, was exchanged at birth." The globe tilts and Victoria stumbles back. She clutches her chest and says, "No, that's impossible," she says, but she knows deep down that intuition, not insanity, was responsible for the pain in her heart and the persistent feeling that something wasn't quite right. Cole's child, but not hers, is the woman she has accepted as her daughter. "So who am I?" Claire lets out a cry as her calmness gives way to desperation. "Who am I if I'm not your daughter?" Matt gives her a dejected look. He murmurs, "You're the daughter of the woman Cole loved before Victoria. However, someone at the hospital made arrangements to give you to the wrong family when Cole and Victoria's baby passed away, or so they were informed. Jordan discovered the truth and exploited it to control everyone." As Victoria takes in the terrifying sequence of events, her legs almost give way beneath her. There were other masterminds besides Jordan, the lady she believed to be her adversary. The decay spread beyond, into the Newman Empire's own corridors. After reading the letter, Nikki follows Victoria to the office and arrives in time to witness the confession. Her face pales. "Oh my God, isn't this Victor's fault?" she exclaims. A deep quiet descends upon the room. With the accusation looming like thunder clouds, Victoria turns to face her mother. "He was aware," Victoria murmurs. "He had to have been aware." Nikki's eyes well up with tears as her lips quiver. "He had to know the baby wasn't gone. That there was a switch. Your dad wanted to keep you safe. He believed Cole would take the child and flee if he found out. He made bad decisions, but he thought he was saving you." Betrayal crackles in the air. Victoria's hands tremble as she holds onto the desk's edge. "Rescuing me?" Her voice breaks as she repeats, "Mother, he took my child. We were all duped by him. He allowed me to grieve for a living infant." She looks to Claire and says, "And now, all these years later, I find out that the girl I've grown to love isn't even mine." Her eyes soften for a heartbreaking moment. "And you too have been ensnared in this entire situation." Claire says, "You didn't deserve any of it," as she moves in closer and begs, "I didn't want to tell lies. I had no idea how deep that went." Before any reconciliation can start, Matt's next statement sets off another explosion. "I just wanted a family. There's more," he admits, seeming guilty. "I returned to Genoa City because I discovered Cole's second letter, not for business." Victoria looks at him incredulously. "He left it with me years ago, and in it, he named the person who helped Victor orchestrate the switch." "Who?" she insists. After a moment, Matt turns to face her. "It was Nick, your brother." The revelation is devastating. Nikki covers her mouth and lets out a loud gasp. Heartbreak and rage fill Victoria's gaze. "No," she murmurs, "Nick would never." But Matt's eyes remain fixed. Matt says, "He didn't know the whole story. He was merely a child attempting to keep you safe. Victor convinced him that the only way to prevent Cole from stealing you and going away forever was to lie about the baby. Nick believed he was preventing heartache for his sister." As she speaks, Victoria's voice breaks. "I believe that my family was my cornerstone for all these years." With tears streaming down her face, she slaps her hand on the desk and says, "And now I find out they've been building my life on lies." Cole attempted to inform me. He attempted to caution me. Nikki lunges for her daughter, but Victoria retreats. And now he's gone. Don't, she cautions. Don't attempt to defend any of this. I'm living in a nightmare because of all of you. You permitted me to bury a child who was still alive. Under false pretenses, you allowed me to raise the daughter of another woman. Claire clutches her heart and sobs aloud. Please, Victoria. I adore you. You may not be my biological mother, but you're the only one who's ever truly cared. Victoria stares at the young lady in front of her, the one who has battled so hard to prove herself, and her fury turns to sadness. And I do love you, she breaks down in a whisper. But I can't ignore the truth anymore. There is an intolerable amount of tension in the room as all of the emotions, love, betrayal, and grief, collide in one terrible moment. Nikki realizes that Victor's misdeeds have finally caught up with them all as she stands motionless between her daughter and grandchild, while the storm rages outside and thunder rumbles across the city skyline. Now that Victoria is holding the letter, it is a weapon that has the power to harm the Newman family from inside. Matt is aware that the fallout is only getting started as he stands quietly by the window. He murmurs, Cole wanted the truth to come out. Victoria stares at him and says, he believed that only honesty could heal what was broken. Sincerity? Following decades of dishonesty? Do you believe that the truth can resolve this? But despite her suffering, there is a gleam of optimism as she speaks. Maybe they will be able to break free from the cycle of falsehoods that has plagued the Newmans for generations after this catastrophic revelation, the disclosure of Matt's secret and Claire's true identity. Nevertheless, Victoria whispers to herself through quivering lips, you were right, Cole, as she holds Cole's letter one last time while the rain beats harder on the glass. The truth could not remain hidden. However, I'm not sure whether any of us will survive it now that it's out. The strange silence that descends upon a battlefield following the tumult of combat is present when the following morning dawns. Although the storm from the previous night has passed at the Newman Ranch, its effects can still be heard in every floor creak and wind whisper. Victoria hasn't had any sleep. Sitting in her father's study, she had been up all night gripping Cole's letter as if it were a piece of her own broken heart. She is plagued by his confession which keeps playing over and over in her head. They told us our baby died. They lied to keep control. Your father was involved. She is unable to unhear it. She is unable to stop feeling it. She is now unable to avoid what has to happen next. She is aware of what needs to be done when the grandfather clock in the corner strikes 8. There won't be any more secrets or assuming that ignorance equates to security. Victor will take responsibility for this. The great Victor Newman is standing behind his desk, sipping coffee as if the world hadn't suddenly fallen apart. The massive door swings open without a knock, a disobedience she has never ventured before. Sharp and calculated, his eyes dart in her direction. He says quietly, "Good morning, my dear. You wake up early. Do you have a thought?" Cole's letter is slammed down in front of him by Victoria. She spits out, "Dad, you can stop the act. I am fully aware of everything." Victor's hand remains motionless. He doesn't flinch or touch the letter, but his jaw slightly tightens, betraying him. "Everything?" His voice is a low rumble as he repeats. Her voice breaks as she says, "Cole's letter. He was aware of your actions. You tricked me into thinking my baby was dead by switching her. You allowed me to grieve for a living child." The ensuing hush is oppressive. Victor leans back in his chair and lets out a deep breath, his eyes narrowing. "Victoria, you don't see the whole picture," he says cautiously. "No, don't even try to take advantage of me." Her voice breaks under the pressure as she interrupts. "You told lies to Cole, to me, and to everyone else. You manipulated my life and the life of my child." Sensing that the altercation has started, Nikki, who has been waiting in the hallway, dashes in. She begs quietly, "Please, let's not do this like." "Mother, like what?" Victoria yells. "As adults? Like a family that confronts reality head-on." Her eyes are flaming as she turns back to Victor. "You always said that the Newman name represented devotion, strength, and integrity, but in reality, it only represents control. The truth has finally caught up with you after you destroyed everything to preserve your legacy." With a thunderous roar, Victor stands up. "I took the necessary action to keep you safe," he yells. Cole was erratic and careless. He desired to remove you from everything, including your life here and your family. I couldn't allow that to occur. Defend me, Victoria sobs. By pilfering my infant? By deceiving me for many years? Victor growls. I didn't steal your baby. You were too little to comprehend the decision I made. According to the doctor, she did not make it. It wasn't until much later that I realized Cole had planned something risky, so I took the appropriate action to stop further suffering. Is it necessary? Bitterly, Victoria repeats. Are you arguing that it was essential to lie about a living child? A rare trace of guilt appears in Victor's voice as it drops. He acknowledges, I thought it was for the best. After the loss, you were devastated. You were scarcely able to function. I couldn't take the chance of the truth totally ruining you. With tears of anger and heartache sparkling in her eyes, Victoria looks at him. She murmurs, You didn't do it for me. She thrusts the letter at him, saying, You did it for yourself, for your control, your power, your image as the great Victor Newman who always knows best. You can now read Cole's thoughts on your type of protection. He knew the truth would surface, so he left this to me. He thought I should know who I truly lost. Victor keeps his hands off the letter. Rather, his countenance is unreadable as he averts his gaze. With quivering hands, Nikki moves between them. Please, Victoria, she pleads. Despite his mistakes, your father still loves you. Victoria laughs hollowly. Love? Do we now refer to this as that? Because it seems to me far more like control and manipulation than love. She inhales deeply, her voice quivering. According to Cole's letter, someone close to me assisted him. Was that accurate? Was Nick involved? Victor stiffens, although he may be identified by the slight flicker of recognition in his eyes. Victoria shakes her head and murmurs, Don't claim that my brother assisted you in lying to me. Victor blurts out, He didn't know everything. He was scared and young. I forced him to swear to keep quiet. He believed he was keeping you safe. Victoria's throat becomes constricted. You forced my brother to bear your guilt for decades, she murmurs, her voice shaking with revulsion. You expect me to forgive you after ruining every relationship in this family? Footsteps reverberate along the corridor before Victor can respond. Nick walks in, his face drawn and pale because he's had enough. He murmurs, She deserves to know. Victoria turns to look at him. So it's true, she murmurs. You were aware. Nick's voice breaks. I promise, Vic, I believed I was acting appropriately. Cole was going to take the baby and vanish, and Dad warned me that the truth would ruin you. I was only a young child. I was unsure about what to believe. Victoria sobs. You could have told me later. You had the opportunity to say something. You remained silent every time I lamented that child and placed the responsibility on myself. Tears well up in Nick's eyes. I was afraid. I believed that Dad would cut me off and ruin everything if I said anything. You are aware of his tendencies when he seeks to preserve the family name. The family name, Victoria fiercely reiterates. She steps back and shakes her head, saying, That's all any of you ever cared about. Nick, you allowed me to live a lie. You did nothing but watch me suffer. You share the same guilt. Avoid saying that. Victor yells and takes a step forward. Your brother complied with my request. If you're looking for someone to blame, it's me. I do, Victoria yells. I hold you accountable for everything. For taking my child, for ruining Cole's life, and for obliterating any possibility of our happiness. For what reason did you put yourself in a position of judge and jury over our lives? To defend a name that has lost all significance. Now in tears, Nikki reaches for her daughter, but Victoria stops her. She sobs as she says, I can't be here. I am unable to even look at you. Leaving the letter on Victor's desk, she turns and storms out of the study. The door slamming reverberates throughout the estate like a gunshot. Claire is sitting by herself in her office at Newman Enterprises, gazing blankly at her reflection in the glass wall. Her identity has been completely destroyed. Cole Catherine. She still finds the name unfamiliar. The daughter of Cole and another lady, neither a Newman nor a child of Victoria. Overnight, everything she believed herself to be has disappeared. Matt walks in silently, his face serious. He murmurs, You shouldn't be alone right now. Claire doesn't look up at him. She murmurs, "You ought to have told me. Did you not know? You were aware before Victoria was." Matt lets out a sigh. "I had a suspicion. Years ago, Cole told me things that didn't make sense until recently. I only recently discovered his letter to Victoria, and he made me swear not to divulge anything until I had proof. I didn't wish to cause you harm." Claire turns, sadness and rage blazing in her eyes. "You didn't wish to harm me? My whole life has been a lie, Matt. Everyone I trusted, including you, Victoria, and Aunt Jordan, has been hiding things from me. I no longer even know who I am." Matt softly insists, "You're still you. You are still the lady who rebuilt her life and battled her way out of Jordan's grasp. Your heart is not altered by your name." Claire gives a head shake. "Everything is altered by it. Right now Victoria doesn't want me. Last night, she treated me as if I were a stranger. Perhaps I am a mistake that should never have happened." Matt grabs her hand and adds angrily, "Don't say that. You are not an error. You are evidence that Cole loved you, even if it wasn't with Victoria. You possess both his strength and his heart. He would prefer that you fight rather than vanish." Claire's voice falters. "What if, however, she never pardons me?" Matt's eyes soften. "Give her some time. Decades of treachery are being processed by her. Claire, she may not love you as the daughter she lost, but she does love you as the person who has supported her. That takes time to disappear." Victoria storms into the office before Claire can respond, her body quivering with tiredness and rage, her eyes swollen with tears. She says bluntly, "We need to talk." Claire stands up, speaking warily. "Victoria." "Don't," says Victoria. "Don't refer to me that at this time. I have no idea who I am, much less who you are." She takes a copy of Cole's letter, carefully folded, out of her luggage. "Everything is changed by this." Claire murmurs, "I know. I apologize." Victoria gives a head shake. "You don't need to express regret. This wasn't done by you. However, I can't act as though nothing has changed. Cole is your father's daughter. His blood is in you. That indicates that you were involved in something I should have been aware of." Claire appears to be in shock. "Are you implying that I'm no longer welcome here?" Victoria is silent for a long time. "I'm stating that I require time."